training going so far?
It's going good, going good. The miles are building up, but now I feel like I'm losing sleep. So now my sleep's been a little bad this week, so the runs have been a little bit, not harder, but just more difficult to get out of the bed and do. But otherwise, my body feels good. Hardest part of training right now is starting to be like the scheduling. You know, you get to a certain point in marathon training when you're like, oh, I can't do this because I'm doing this, or like the miles are so long. So just making sure that I'm getting good sleep, but also saying no to things.
How are you approaching this race?
So minimum have to hit 32 miles. So that's pretty much mileage-wise what my game plan is. After that, you know, we're kind of just winging it. With this race, I want to make sure I focus on like fueling, how my body feels like with intake. I'm not really good at taking gels, just like road running. So just making sure that I'm able to eat food and, you know, drink carbs and stay hydrated. I want to focus on making sure that is successful today, and then also just like running at night.
What's the hardest part of training right now?
I think sometimes it's just like after a long day of work, when I really just want to like go lay in my bed, I think getting out there. But I feel like, yeah, normally after I get my body moving, then it's not so bad, but I think just getting started some days. With marathons, I feel like everybody's always like asking you like, what's your time? Like the first question that you normally will hear and stuff. So it's a lot about like speed and like being faster and stuff. So I feel like a lot of times like we lean towards people who just are going really fast, and like we cheer everybody on, but for the most part you kind of like praise the people who are going really fast. Whereas with the ultra community, I think a lot of people just realize that the struggle is just like finishing it, especially like if you're doing like 50 miles and people who do 100 miles, which I've never done. A lot of them, I think they respect the fact that you're finishing the race, you're kind of putting yourself out there to do hard things. And so I've found that it's a lot more encouraging in that way. I think sometimes like I see lack of representation, or like I kind of like tell myself like I can't do it, that it's like, yeah, like you don't see people who are black, people who are like in larger bodies, people who are slower doing these things and stuff. And so I like, that's the voice in my head that's saying like, no, you can't do it. And so I'm like, no, shut up voice, I'm gonna keep going and pushing. And so I think in a lot of ways, I think it just inspires me to kind of do the things that like seem impossible.
I ran a 50K, so I ran 32.13 miles. I feel more prepared. It's one thing to like do long runs and to like plan out and strategize in your head, but when you actually like are on the trail doing it real live and in person, like you can kind of see the ins and outs. But I also feel more scared. Like I said, I live in the land of delusion and reality, and like this race pushed me more towards reality in a good way. Of I can be more prepared, I can have like accurate planning, but it's also the reality of like, oh, I've done this very hard thing, and like just double it. just make it twice. You know, you did 32 miles, you're gonna have to do another 30 miles on top of that, and that's kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around right now. Seeing people's reactions to me running this race, like in our Discord group, and like how like surprised and just how excited everybody was. I was just like, you know what? And that's crazy because I'm more scared now than I was before the race, but people are like excited and they're like cheering me on and they're proud of me, and I'm just like, okay, I'm more scared, but like, you know what? I got a little bit more push too. I just want everybody to get exposure to just how great it can be.
Part of it's just being able to say, hey, I can push through hard things and whatnot. Because I mean, I've had times where I've given up, and I was like, I've always regretted it. And so I always kind of think back to that it's like, you know what, like this might be hard and I may not like the way that it feels afterwards, but at least I won't have to have the what ifs of like, what if I could have pushed harder? What if I could have done that? So I think that that's some of it, just like kind of like not giving up on myself. Finding your community, I think, is the first part and stuff. It may not be the easiest thing, and it may not even be an in-person community, but finding those people that kind of encourage you and you can see them doing similar things to you, I think that that really helps you I mean, like, kind of have to like also believe in yourself. So sometimes it's just like kind of like putting your foot forward, and like it may be hard in the beginning, but one thing I love about running is that it's like you can really see your progress. And so if you stick to it consistently week after week, then eventually it's going to get easier, and then maybe you will find like a group that you can kind of keep up with pace-wise, or it may just be that you can kind of create your own thing and you feel more confident in like creating your own community within it. So just kind of stick with it.
I want you to show up for you. If no one else is going to believe in you, and if nobody else is going to think you can do it, like let you always be the one to know that you can do it. Like no one is in your corner, you are in your corner. And so even though we're fighting against these different systems, environmental factors, financial barriers, like say so what? Oh, and like we talked about in the first episode how I don't like to ask for help, and that really, I still don't like to ask for help, and like I really needed help. So like I needed help and I didn't want to ask for help, so I'm very glad that like the people who are waiting at the aid stations for their loved ones are also very just like helpful and very pushy. Like when I say like, oh, my stomach's hurt, and they're like, you want this, and enough times of me saying no, they were like, I'm just gonna sit the cup of pretzels here. I'm just gonna sit the ginger ale here, and like, you're gonna drink it or not, but like, I'm just gonna sit it here. Even when I was like trying to go get my change of shoes, she was like, just sit down. Like, I can go get your change of shoes. And I was like, but you don't have to do that for me. And she's like, I can. I'm gonna work on that.